Kids, we're back. I hope you had time to hug and kiss and, your pets. So if you don't have a pet, consider your kid a pet, you know. So, okay. So there's a guy here in Austin that in my opinion, is an Austin icon. One of the nicest guys I've ever met, and will help you, and loves to read, but will help you in any way that he can. And I wanted to have him on the show. So I asked Tyrone, I said, dude, we got to get Dan on the show because he knows so much about Austin. He knows so much about the film industry in Austin and how it works. And if you want to get involved, this is the guy to contact. So I want to introduce you guys to an Austin icon, Dan Eggleston. Come on in, Dan. How you doing, bud? Have a seat, have a seat. So, I have a few questions for you. I had some people, we sent out a little email and asked people to ask you questions, or, what kind of questions they would like to know. Because you're known by a lot of people. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about Dan. Where were you born?
I was born in Clovis, California, which is outside of Fresno, and you were talking about 112 yesterday?
Yeah.
It was 117 the day I was born.
That's right, 117. Hot stuff right here, dude. Okay.
And I lived there 8 weeks. It was my dad was just getting out of World War II, the service.
Wow.
And we moved to New Jersey. He lived there 10 years, Kansas City 6, and San Antonio. I lived there 13 years, and then here to Austin.
Nice, nice. So out of all the towns, and this is a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Out of all the towns, which one did you enjoy the most?
Well, I love Austin, but
Thank you.
I did love Kansas City a lot.
Yeah. Dude, I moved to Kansas City, actually, and the people were so nice. I've told this story before, but I actually moved in, like, next door to a cardinal, and it was a big place. The guy it was like he lived in a mansion, this huge mansion. I had a condo, but this guy had this huge mansion, and
On Ward Parkway?
I'm sorry?
On Ward Parkway?
Dude, I have no idea. That was so long ago. That was, I'm going to say probably 25 years ago, something like that. So it's been a while.
Right.
So, all right. So do you have any kids?
Nope.
No kids? Okay.
Although in a sense I have 6,000 because I taught over 6,000 students in 34 years.
Wow. Now, I remember that you were a school teacher. What grade did you teach?
I taught 11th grade high school first year.
Okay.
And I got transferred to a middle school where 2/3 of the teachers were new and 2/3 of the students were new.
Wow.
And I taught there 7 years, and then I moved to San Antonio, and I'd rather move to Austin.
Yeah.
And even though I was a math teacher, I couldn't get a job for 2 years because district didn't have no room for math teachers, which is pretty unusual. So I worked 6 months at the Benson Latin American Collection. It was just the LAC at the time because Nettie Lee Benson was actually the director. It was named for her later.
Okay.
Then 18 months at the law school and as a clerk typist and a senior clerk typist.
Okay.
And I got a job teaching at Dobie Middle School where I taught 2 years, and 24 years at Lamar Middle School.
Wow.
Math and computer mostly.
And what grade did you teach mostly?
6th, 7th, and 8th.
6th, 7th, and 8th?
Yeah.
And in all the years, from the first time that you started teaching to the last class that you had,
Right.
what would you say was the difference between the kids in the first class you ever had and the last class you ever had?
I'd say there's less respect
Okay.
than the early ones.
Okay.
I actually got to see 20 of the students I taught 40 years ago, a couple summers ago in San Antonio, which is pretty cool.
Nice, nice. So you know what Dan is saying? Well, I'm going to put words in his mouth, but I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm just saying, dude, teach your kids to learn how to behave out in public. All the time, especially on airplanes, dude. You might think I'm nuts, but I used to give my kids Dramamine. I'd give them a little hat, like a fourth of a pill of Dramamine, and they sleep right through the plane, the flight. So, I don't know. I love kids, but, okay, so why did you pick teaching?
I had one education class during college. And so I had to do education certification after I started teaching.
Okay.
But I wanted to be a banker. Then I realized,
What?
I know, I was a math major.
Wow.
And I was, I had taken an education class, and the guy, DJ Steinball, was just inspiring.
Yeah.
And so that was part of the reasoning, and I was able to get a job with San Antonio ISD at Breckenridge High School.
Okay.
And they hired me to teach mathematics. Or no, they hired me to teach, they hired me to teach math, and there was a schedule mistake.
Okay.
And they only had, like 20 students for me, and so they said, well, you can teach American history and Texas history, which would be 2 preparations,
Yeah.
or 11th grade English would be 1 prep.
Okay.
And so I took the English because, it would be, as a first-year teacher that didn't have the education training,
Okay.
that was a better choice, and I really loved it.
Nice. Well, one thing I always tell people, that I meet, especially younger people that say, oh, I hate math. Dude, that's the one thing you're going to use for the rest of your life, so you better learn to be good at math. I mean, everything else is okay, but dude, math is like the one thing you're going to use every single day of your life. Okay, so a couple other questions. Why did you start the email list? Now, he has an email list that what he does is, tell them.
Okay,
Tell 'em.
well, I started, back in '97, I started wanting to do some extra work in the summer,
Okay,
because I never missed a day of school.
right. Nice,
Like 12 or 13 years straight with not a single day.
nice.
But I was an extra in, I can't remember the title of the movie, it was the Walmart Baby movie with, can't think of who it is right now. She's when Star Wars or Star Trek. But in
I
any
don't know.
case,
That's what I drink.
in any
yeah.
case, I was an extra for that. Then '98, I was in another film. And then 2000, I said, well, I'm going to do some more movies.
Yeah,
And I was in a film called Pageant, and the first day I was supposed to be in a scene at the Capitol, and they had to cancel it, shoot it later because we couldn't get enough people.
wow,
So I was calling teachers, calling former students, saying, hey, you want to be in a
Nice.
movie?
nice.
And they gave me a credit as a assistant casting director for that.
Oh, nice, nice.
It's a no-budget film.
Yeah,
And in the middle of that, they had a cattle call for Miss Congeniality.
yeah,
And I was in that as a backstage employee. I'm visible twice briefly. And there were 200 paid extras every day. During that, there was a casting call for a film called The Duo.
yeah.
Ryan Wickersham and Emily Cropper were boyfriend, girlfriend at the time, and they were producing it. And I didn't know at the time, but I met them later. And I said, wait a minute. Where was this? When was it? God, this would be so much easier if we do it by email. And I was already getting names to be in Pageant because we hadn't finished shooting.
Nice.
And so I started asking these people, would you like to get casting calls by email? Of course, they all said yes.
Right.
So after a 16-hour day during Miss Congeniality, I was 104 hours in 8 days, never less than 12 hours.
Wow.
I started a list, I called it Austin Film Extras because we were extras. And 2 months later, I realized, well, not just extra work, it's casting, it's crew, it's headshots, it's film business, and so forth. And so I renamed it Austin Film Extra.
Nice.
And if you do a Google for Austin Film Extra,
Okay.
you can find it's a Yahoo group, and there are now over 10,000 subscribers.
Okay. So I get asked this all the time, and people say, "Oh, how can I get in, into the film industry here in Austin? How can I get into, film sets?" Dude, this is the guy. This is the guy that you want to contact. Google Austin.
Just Google Austin Film Extra
Yeah, awesome.
and join the list. Now, you need to get it by email.
Okay.
Because Yahoo, if you go to their website to check the casting calls, they partially hide the email addresses.
Wow.
So you can't contact the people you need to.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah, well, they
Okay.
didn't. They used to do it where you could click on the link
Yeah.
and they'd let you email, but they stopped that.
Okay.
It's for spamming.
Okay. So then, what they need to do is Google.
Just join the list,
Uh huh.
and they got options of email daily digest or all the emails, or on the web, of which is not going to work.
Right. Right. Okay. So now you know.
Yeah.
So stop asking me. Ask him, and he'll hook you up. So let's see, we've got some other, what is this about, now when did you get into acting? Because I thought at one time that, many years ago, I thought that maybe you were just doing extra work. But then I heard that you were doing actual parts in different films. And we actually did a film together called
Z, a zombie musical.
Yeah.
You have a small part as
Yeah.
a poet,
Yes, I have.
and I'm the zombie philosopher.
Okay. Well, I want to show you a quick clip.
Okay.
Can we go ahead and roll that clip, Tyrone?
Open parts of your mind you've never thought to explore.
Sounds inviting, sir, but I'm on my way out the door.
You remember
Oh,
that?
absolutely. Got a shot in Ron Shimmick's garage.
I had so much fun doing that film. I actually was I think in only one scene in the whole film, and I was walking to the set, and it was somewhere, it was,
It was on North Loop at a bookstore,
yeah, it was at a bookstore in North Loop, and
Monkey Wrench Books.
yeah, I had been drinking, believe it or not. I had been drinking, and the director was telling me that, you need to be here by a certain time, and you guys know me. If I tell you I'm going to be there at 10, I'll probably be there at 10:45. So anyway, so I ended up going, and I decided I parked kind of far away because there was no parking, and I parked kind of far away, and as I was walking to the set, I started writing down a bunch of lines because he told me, write something that you think, would sound pretty cool to say on the set. And I wrote it, but I didn't think he'd use it, and he ended up using it. So, Tyrone, do we have that clip? Yes. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead and roll it while I take a sip.
Ode to the honorary mayor, writ by poet laureate of Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, did the honorary mayor decree a stately pleasure done, or rather the twin dawns of his fair bride. For the honorary mayor's wife, he's blessed with a beauty, a pulchritude, a splendor in the grass that drives zombie men wild with passion. I'm like a plain muffin without my blueberry. Never did a woman exist more accommodating than the sexy wife of the very nice, distinguished, honorary male who drives a nice car and has a nice yard. Nice guy. Yeah.
Now you guys know why I drink. I actually have a crown just like the one that the guy was wearing. That was Joe King, right?
Joe King Carrasco.
Joe King Carrasco was in that film. Nice guy. I never got to act in a scene with him, but super nice guy.
Now, Willie Nelson agreed to be in that, but we could never schedule it. We're going to have him audition and be turned down.
Oh.
And Joe Ely, I've known since the 80s.
Yeah.
And Dan Rather agreed to be in it, then
Yeah.
changed his mind. I was going to have a zombie guitar trio of Joe Ely, Dan Rather, and our state senator, Craig Watson.
Right.
And Craig and Dan couldn't do it, so I got real musicians, Michael Picasso and Jimmy LaFave.
Nice.
I mentioned that I was going to have a zombie trio to Sarah Hickman, and she said, "Oh, can I be in it?"
Nice.
So I've got a zombie guitar quartet, and Jim Swift on KXN did one of his last From the Porch news pieces on that.
Yeah, I know Jim. I actually asked Jim to be on the show. Jim, you need to come on the show. I need you to do this thing. Ooh, look, here's the weather. I'll have a radar thing for you back here. So, Jim, you need to be on the show. I have a question for you. Now, if you want to watch this film that we did together, you can actually find it on YouTube, from what I understand.
If you just Google YouTube or go to YouTube and look for Dan Eggleston, I've got about 100 different films on it.
Ta-da.
Z is on there, and we're actually in the process of trying to raise money to do a making of documentary about Z.
Huh.
And
Well, oh yeah, I remember somebody contacted me a while back. Yeah, he's actually in the audience. They
Fred
contacted
Light.
me about it, and I think I contacted you, and I said, well, Dan, is this cool? Because I didn't know
That's
if
right,
you guys had,
yeah.
okayed it or what. So, and you said that was cool, and so I was like, yeah, dude, I'm in, as long as nobody, is upset. I have a quick question for you, though. How did you get Harvey Fierstein? I can't.
We don't have him, we just have somebody pretending to be him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So somebody
It's
did the
John McLean
voice?
doing his voice.
Wow, dude, he did a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did such a good job. I heard it and I thought that it was Harvey. So now we're not talking about Harvey Weinstein, not that guy. We're talking about
Harvey
Fierstein.
Yeah.
Super, super great actor. So how many films have you been involved in so far?
I don't know the exact count, but it's over 200. A lot of short films. I was
Nice.
in Miss Congeniality, like we mentioned.
Yeah.
I was also in True Grit. When
Oh,
Maddie
yeah.
enters courtroom, she has to shove past me.
Yeah,
And I silently look at her saying, aren't you going to say, excuse me, little girl?
yeah. Well, dude, I actually auditioned for that part and I didn't get it. So I went out and got drunk. What do you think you like best? Do you like acting, producing? What do you like best as far as in the film industry?
Acting.
Acting?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I've only actually produced one film, which was Z, and it turned
Okay.
out I was helping with the casting, I was helping with the crew.
Right,
I found a music studio, I found musicians to compose the music, I was helping with
Wow.
scheduling, you name it. And so
Wow.
when we're finished, John gave me a producer credit because I'd done everything.
Nice. Well, now, you said that you're going to do a GoFundMe account for
It's
the
an
documentary?
Indiegogo account.
Indiegogo account.
Right, it
And
just
where
set
do
up
we go?
today.
Where do we go to
Fred?
donate?
It's zazzombiemusical.com will send you straight to it.
Okay.
Go to zazzombiemusical.com and there should be a link there.
Okay.
There's a Facebook page for Zombie Musical,
Okay.
which most people are on Facebook, so they can go there.
Okay.
And there are clips there and pictures and all kinds of stuff.
Awesome. So kids, check that out. It was a lot of fun doing that movie because everybody was nuts doing the film, so it all worked out. Now, I know that you read a lot of books. So how many books do you think you've read in
About 10,300 so far.
10,300 so
Yeah,
far?
right.
Okay. And what's your favorite subject when it comes to books?
Oh, there's so many. I like
Okay.
nonfiction books a lot, but no, I like
Okay.
fiction also. I'm reading a science fiction book right now, and no, actually, I've got 5 or 6 books I've got going right now.
Well, I actually saw him out in the parking lot when I first got here to the studio, and he said, I'm going to the library, I'll be right back. I was like, okay, I figured as much. What do you think is one of your favorite movies that you've done, that you've been in?
Well, Z, of course, was
Okay.
fun, but
All right.
it's hard to think of some. I was in a YouTube video, but I was actually in some plays,
Okay.
which are also on the YouTube channel. There's one called Blackpool and Parish,
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out that I was invited to be in that because they needed a man,
Yeah.
and the person they counted on couldn't be in it. And I played
Okay.
Blackpool,
Yeah.
who is essentially the devil, the
Okay.
embodiment of evil,
Okay.
and Parish is the embodiment of good.
Okay.
And we've been raising kids all these years, and I've been raising her kids, and she's been raising mine.
Oh, wow.
So I've got this good kid,
Yeah.
and we're about to turn the power of the universe over to our kids.
Okay.
And that's the whole genesis of the play.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And then there's another play that was in Frontera Fest, which was essentially written for me,
Uh-huh.
called 9/11, the Al-Qaeda Press Conference.
Okay.
And I play Osama bin Laden's press representative on 9/11.
Okay.
And it's a press conference.
Nice.
And so I had somebody dressed in full burqa.
Mm-hmm.
It was an authentic burqa. And
Okay.
I'm dressed in Afghan garb. It was authentic. And I had some people playing press people who were asking me questions.
Right.
And that's also on the YouTube channel.
Okay. And that's just Dan Eggleston.
Just Dan Eggleston. Yeah.
Eggleston. I have one question. This is my question. I actually wrote it as the very last. Why do you wear these?
It's supposed to help with circulation.
Okay, so it just
Because I
keeps.
do a lot of typing. Yeah,
You
it
do a lot
keeps
of typing.
everything warmer, and that's the purpose.
Oh, okay. All right. I've known him for 100 years, and I've always wondered. I'm one of those people. I'll ask you, dude. I don't care. How'd you lose your leg? How'd you lose your arm? I ask people. Not being
there's,
rude, but just curious.
Do you ever watch Fear the Walking Dead?
No, I can't watch scary movies.
Oh, it's not scary.
Oh, yeah.
It's an AMC program that's just finished filming season 4.
Yeah,
And I'm going to be in either episode 15 or 16 when it resumes this fall,
okay.
playing a rabbi.
Oh, nice. I'm telling
Just
you.
a short bit.
Yeah, nice.
Well, I'm talking about, I've been stuck in the temple for 3 months.
Uh-huh.
I can't go out. All of my congregation is probably out there dead. And it's terrible, but they're just doing a voiceover during it. So they show me talking and so forth.
Right. Okay, well, I think we're going to, Tay is over there doing this number, which means I need to wrap it up. So anyway, Dan, thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure.
One last time, the what's it called?
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo, azzombiemusical.com, and they will, if you want to donate to this documentary. But you got to watch the film. Go to YouTube,
Dan Eggleston.
Dan Eggleston, and look up.
And if you'll subscribe,
zombie.
subscribe to my thing,
Yes.
like, comment.
Exactly. Make sure you subscribe and stuff. I don't know how that works or why they do it, but they do it. So anyway, check it out. You'll really, really like it. So, but don't watch it sober because it won't make no sense. Okay, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Hang tight. I got to do this.